For good. Let's think about another sport altogether, and this is boxing. There have been a lot of talks about boxing, and today we had a general meeting. The general meeting was simply just trying to say that we also want to fix boxing, because for boxing there has been a lot of management issues. They are saying that we want a new constitution, we want a proper election, and today they had an annual general meeting, and Rutunu Konyike has been there following up exactly what is happening. I hear, Rutunu, that they have accepted that they will be having a new constitution, and with it they are hoping that things will be fixed when we think about boxing in the country.
True to your word, the boxing fraternity has experienced quite a number of challenges, and today they have, I would say, achieved a lot, because they've just passed a new constitution of which a number of boxers had anticipated for this, and it has been a big day for them. 90% of those who are present have said yes to the constitution. And other than just the constitution, we also have the announcement of a new patron in charge. That is Anthony Kungu, who is the chairman of the Betting Control and Licensing Board. Now, Anthony Kungu is taking over from Senator Johnson Sakaja, who just decided to step down for the moment. He was supposed to lead office for a period of 2 years. Now, joining me right now is Monica Ngere. Monica Ngere is one of the sports lawyers, rather the only sports lawyer today who has facilitated the whole constitutional process. And I'll just let her in on the link to tell us, rather inform us on the nitty-gritties of the constitutional process and how this went for her today. So how are you, Monica?
Fine, thank you.
And as a sports lawyer who facilitated this event today, what would you say was the outcome? What do you think about the outcome?
I think that it was a great outcome. Actually, it was not even 90% of the boxes. It was unanimously passed. Rarely do you find a membership association dealing with sports unanimously passing a constitution. It will be opposed because of political forces. But I think the boxers, the promoters, the managers, the referee, the ring officials of boxing have said in one voice, you know, this is good for us. This is where we need to go. So they've adopted the constitution, and I'm happy about that.
You heard me mention about the nitty-gritties of the constitutional process. Maybe what are the new introductions to this constitution?
I would say first and foremost, we've gone over and above to make sure that the functions of the various officials in the commissions are really sorted out. What we've had is just a mess, because you're all elected but you don't know what you're supposed to do. So there's the objectives of the organization, and there's the general duties you do, but then you don't have specific roles. So it leads to a lot of conflict between the members and the commission, and somehow things don't move. But in this new constitution, they have spelled out very clearly what does a Secretary General do, what does a chairman do. And then also, if you look at the objectives of the constitution, it's really spelled out to take care of issues that have long been living in a gray area. I'll give you an example. The issue of regulation of contracts between promoters and boxers has been left for, basically do as you wish. But now every other boxer will have to tender a copy to the commission, because there will be laws that are going to be passed just coming right after the general election that will deal with that issue, so that promoters can then stop taking advantage of boxers. There are many innovative things in there that probably under the old constitution were not provided, because it was not alive to the Sports Act, it was not alive to the constitution, principles of equality and non-discrimination. All those were not there. But at least the Boxing Federation has actually adopted the regulations from the Sports Act, and they are complying. So I hope soon they'll be registered with the Sports Act.
This specific constitution has been really celebrated, and I'm sure you've seen that. Why is this the case? Is that was the previous leadership, or how it has been all along? Is it that bad? Did we have a constitution? Why are we celebrating this so much?
I think there was a constitution, and I happen to have looked at the constitution. The only problem with that constitution, it has ambiguity. It was probably drafted back in the day when there were not so many issues that were arising, and it did not bear the boxer, the promoter, the manager, the ring official in mind. It was basically, we want to control the little funds that we can get from these people and just call ourselves a commission. So yes, there have been previous offices, they've had challenges, because then the boxers retreated. the managers retreated. People stopped registering with the commission because there was simply no way of controlling what goes on in there. There was nothing to say how the funds will be taken care of. So, of course, there's been mismanagement of the funds and things like that. But I'm sure right now the boxers are happy because they are sure if we pay our subscription fee, these are our rights, these are our duties. These are the duties of the commission officials, and how do we then hold them into account? All the checks and balances have been put there.
Now, there's something I noticed during the constitutional process. Passing of the constitution was done by a show of hands, yet there was the option of ballot boxes. Why was this done in this manner? Was everyone satisfied with how this process was done?
I would say, you know, when you hold an election, you go by what laws exist. And I'll give an example of when we were passing the constitution. We had to have a set of laws, the national referendum laws, just promulgating the new constitution. There was a process that was, outlined. Being in this case that there was no process that is outlined beyond what was in the old constitution, it was very okay to just acclaim it. In fact, all we needed to have is just say, all those who are in agreement say yes, and that was good enough. But by the show of hands, that is just affirming that we've conformed to what the old constitution says. But going forward, the decisions were made slightly different. The thresholds are there. What is a quorum of an AGM? What is a quorum of a special general meeting? How do we vote? And of course, according to the Sports Act now, you must do, universal suffrage. You must have secret ballots. The elections must be free and fair. So all those things now going forward will be a bit different under the new constitution.
Thank you so much, Monica. We hope for the best for the boxing fraternity. Now, that was just Monica Ngere. As I said, she's a sports lawyer who facilitated the passing of the constitution, and the boxing fraternity rather has around 2 months to conclude the elections. This was just an AGM. Following next is the elections of the officials. Back to the studio.
Thank you very much, Linda Rotunu Konyike there, just giving us up to date.